Virgo, hello. Welcome to Coffee, Sage, and Tarot. This is going to be your monthly reading for November 2025. We're going to take a look at what you should be letting go as well as what you should be embracing as we head into November. Finally, we're going to be looking at the theme for the month ahead. And as well, at the end of everything, I'm going to have a card flipped over here that we will go ahead and turn over and see any final thoughts that Spirit has for you, okay? I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled these, but we're just going to do one or two more times. To show me Virgo, please, for the month of November. Show me Virgo, please, for the month of November. Thank you. All right. Wheel of Fortune. Okay. All right. So let go here. Change, transformation. Honestly, what this feels like is letting go of the overarching concept of change and kind of how that can be intimidating when we think of, oh my God, we want to do all this and make all this change. And oh my goodness, like it's a mountain, right? We're turning change and transformation into a mountain. It becomes almost bigger than it needs to be, as opposed to embracing each kind of step, one step at a time, one step in front of the other, directing our energy continuously as we go. Stepping and assessing, right? Making that choice of, okay, I'm here. Now what? Think about it. Make your choice. Okay, I'm here. Now what? Right? And so literally breaking it down and taking it one step at a time is what I'm seeing here for you, Virgo. The theme, Queen of Cups here. Yeah, I think really just being open and honest with yourself, and having that clarity of, does this serve me? Is this something that I feel comfortable with? And really just turning something that can seem very, like, when you look at it big picture, can seem a little bit intimidating and scary, especially when we're trying to implement big change, and really breaking it down and realizing that each step forward is change, and we need to make sure that we're comfortable with it, that it doesn't, if we are testing our boundaries, Virgo, sitting in that awareness and deciding, okay, is this too far past my boundary, or am I okay? Can I extend my boundary a little bit further? That's really what it feels like here. We're playing with boundaries. We're playing with, we're testing our limits, and just in a very meaningful and intentional way for the month of November. The Wheel of Fortune is in the shadow with the High Priestess. Wow. Yeah. Really just affirming that here. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, the High Priestess, and the Emperor here. Yeah, so it feels like the universe is presenting you with some opportunities to get in touch with your intuition here and to really take control of that. So practicing discernment, sharpening your intuition here, but really having that be the goal of this month. And, again, like sharpening your intuition, right? That sounds so, okay, well, what does that mean? Right? But just, kind of breaking it down and saying, okay, I'm going to start meditating and see what pops up. Sharpening my intuition, listening to my body, listening to any kind of, what is my mind saying? What is my body feeling as I enter this room? And just being so aware, maybe carrying a journal and just logging your thoughts, any kind of monumental thoughts throughout the day? Is your body screaming at you at any given point? Well, what is it saying? How are you feeling about people that you're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, right? So really kind of having this showing up with that intuition here, and or with intuition being a priority, and really taking control of, okay, what are we doing? How exploring this, right? Taking accountability in that way. So very interesting for you, Virgo, here. Let's go ahead and see some clarifiers here. Show me a little bit more about that Death card for Virgo, please. Show me a little bit more about that Death card for Virgo. Thank you. Show me a little bit more about that Two of Wands. Show me a little bit more about that Two of Wands, please. Show me a little bit more. Thank you. Okay. Show me a little bit more about that Queen. Hey, I'm here. Show me a little bit more about that Queen of Cups, please. Show me a little bit more about that Queen of Cups, please. Show me a little bit more about that Queen of Cups for Virgo. Show me a little bit more. Thank you. Okay. And the fourth. Okay. And the Lovers there. Alrighty, so heading into that let go position, right? So with that Death card, we have that clarified by the Six of Cups, the Page of Wands, and that Eight of Swords. I'm wondering if somebody's given you a gift. Or if somebody said something to you and it kind of clicked in how unaware you were about this aspect of yourself. Okay. And if it wasn't a gift, I'm wondering if there was some sort of epiphany moment, or you were kind of, nurturing somebody else, or paying attention to somebody else. And in that, something was said kind of off the cuff, or something just kind of happened in conversation where you realized, oh, I didn't think about how that applies to me, kind of deal. And that's kind of spurring this here. I'm just wondering if that's not the case here for you, Virgo, just in the way that this is presenting. Because it does feel like something has happened. And if it's not that specific scenario, I'll just back it up a little bit more and say that it feels like something happened here, or you were engaging in some sort of conversation or act with somebody who seems to be very close to you, and you realized within that interaction, there's something lacking for you, or something that is leaving you feel like something's missing, feeling trapped. Okay. And it feels like, where this Death card, it feels like it was something that was always said but never thought about. I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, just something of like, you know, how people say, well, change is constant, change is constant, change is constant, right? And it just kind of became one of these things of like this overarching, like vague thing. We thought of change as constant. Transformation just happens, or it's something where it's just very much like kind of like this automatic kind of I don't want to say unattainable, but it's just kind of like this thing. It's just a thing people say, kind of idea, and or it's like something that happens for everybody else, but it doesn't happen for me, kind of deal. And it's just become something that's just so like automatic. It's like we think of change as like something, yeah, I'll get to it, or it'll happen, or whatever. Yeah, down the line, down the line, down the line. And we kind of let go of that theme of it being okay down the line, and it actually, something kind of happens here in this interaction where it becomes you become aware of some sort of aspect of yourself that requires change. Okay. Heading into embrace here with that Two of Wands, definitely choices that we're making here, and that's kind of this feels like with these cards going in opposing directions. Here we have that Knight of Swords and the Ten of Wands, both kind of going in opposite directions, and then we have that Page of Cups in the center on its side, right? So yeah, I mean it's interesting because, yeah, I mean, let's break down the choices and let's live consciously and sit and you know, choose where are we going to direct our energy, right? What it appears like, and I think this is your energy showing up here, what it feels like is that no choice is easy. This is very, whatever we're breaking down here and making a choice about, there's no easy route ahead, is what I'm seeing here. With that Knight of Swords, that's kind of like, oh, I've already made up my mind. He's the, you know, the bully of the tarot here. He'll kind of blaze in, not really taking in all of the facts, not really observing all of his surroundings here, not really using discernment. He's just making a snap judgment and moving based off of that snap judgment, right? Guaranteed he doesn't have all the information, and so that's basically when we make a quick decision and we roll with it, and we're unmoving in that decision. Nope, we decided, so we're moving in this way. Well, don't you think that? Nope, we decided. I'm not thinking, I already thought and I made my decision and we're moving forward, right? Or making a snap judgment on somebody, being too judgmental, or on ourselves, right? That's that kind of direction and that path that Knight of Swords represents. With the Ten of Wands here, overburdened, okay? Carrying the weight of, he's literally carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, right? With all these wands here. They're not all his. They're not all his to carry, but he has offered up himself, his body, as the utility to move these wands. Okay. And what this feels like is the direction of realizing coming more into your body, Virgo, and realizing how much you're actually carrying for the people around you, or perhaps you were doing so much and realizing the effect that that took on your body, right? On your mind, realizing how much it drained you, right? So whichever kind of choice you make here, the road ahead is not is not easy. Okay. The Page of Cups on its side here, it honestly, yeah, I don't know if you've made your choice here on which direction you're going to go. This feels like old patterns. Um and this feels like closing something off or putting an end to something that maybe you never thought you would, or you never thought you'd see the finish of this, right? The reason I see this page on his side, was he this way maybe? It feels like an extension of this energy here, where something happened and you realized how kind of stifled you were, or limited, or whatever that kind of trapped energy is feeling. Um, and you're not sure which way you're going, right? This Page of Cups here, you were given some sort of gift of emotional awareness here, new emotional knowledge, right? It was presented to you in this interaction here that has either recently taken place or will take place in the near future, right? Um, but you're not sure what you're going to do with it. And that's really what I'm seeing here. You're still kind of figuring out which way you're going to go. Um, yeah, you're not sure. The Lovers here, so some sort of soul bond connection that could be as it relates to you and the best version of you. It could be as it relates to, a partner, a lover, um, a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, any kind of soul to soul connection that you have. The Five of Cups with the Five of Swords and that Two of Swords there. Yeah, it just feels like your mind is. Mm, you haven't made up your mind and you're stuck in the realization of whatever this Eight of Swords is, and you're not sure where to go from here. But you do know you need to move somewhere, right? But where do I go? I don't know. Um, but I think alongside that, as we head into the theme here, the point is that you've come to some sort of realization, Virgo, that the path ahead is, there's some clarity on that, and it's scary. Um, but there's also um, like a calm in that clarity, right? As I was doing your meditation, my hands felt very full, and I feel like you are full with responsibility, with tending to the people around you, with making sure that everything is tended to, right? You have your hands full here. But whatever insight this has brought you, there's kind of a relief there in some aspect or another. Okay. Heading into that theme here. So the Queen of Cups is clarified, surprised by the Queen of Cups. We've got the Four of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, and that King of Wands here. So yeah, it just, again, it feels like there's an awareness here, as we head into November, of, it could even be an awareness that the boundaries exist. Or that it's okay for you to have these boundaries, right? It's okay for you to acknowledge those boundaries and the limits that you feel you're within, and maybe those limitations feel too limiting, and so you need to expand them and work on how to expand them, right? Or maybe you feel, I think in whatever way there's some sort of something within your limitations, within your boundaries, that's not working, and so we need to figure it out, right? Because whatever you have been feeling lately has not been working, or it's been working but it's not been it's like when you're riding a bike and the chain catches, right? You ride it, you're getting some good momentum, and then that chain catches. It's almost like you can't get anywhere, or the amount of effort that you're exerting doesn't match the pace at which you're going. Okay, so something's off about that situation. That's what I'm seeing with this Five of Pentacles here. It's like you just can't gain the momentum. You just can't get there because something isn't working properly, and we need to explore what that is, right? And that November is the opportunity to do so. And you're realizing, I think perhaps on the outset you thought it would be easier, but then you quickly come to the realization that it's a little bit more challenging than meets the eye here. King of Wands, right? We want to be, where are we going to direct our energy, right? Being in control of that. Perhaps that's where you want to go. You want to get to that point of, I can direct my energy to this and give my time to this and give this person a hand within this group in the way that feels beneficial to them, but also not taking anything away from myself and my other priorities, right? I feel like that's where you want to be. That's the goal. And so we're doing this work, Virgo, with that in mind. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some final thoughts on that death card, please, for Scorpio, or for Virgo. Let's get some final thoughts. Queen of Swords. Yeah. So Queen of Swords here, definitely some hard truths, right? That's kind of when she comes up, but she does have the mountain behind her. She has that experience, that level of mastery, and it feels like within this situation there is some sort of level of awareness where something clicks, and you know that you need to, this is kind of like your diving off point, going into making these choices and doing the work that is laid out for you in November. Three of Pentacles. Yeah, starting something new, right? And that doesn't necessarily have to be like, yes, it could be a new hobby, a new job, a new something, like, where you're giving your effort and energy into building something new, right? It could also be kind of realizing the choice in every aspect of your life, right? And slowing things down enough to see the choices that are there, and living life by the set of choices that you make. You know what I'm saying? Like breaking it down in that regard. But listen, it could also be starting something new. It could also be kind of a renewed vision on the life that you're currently leading, right? As it relates to kind of keeping it simple or breaking it down, or seeing the fundamental aspects of it, right? Let's get some clarity on that Queen of Swords, or Cups. No, I'm all messed up. All right. Yeah, King of Swords, Six of Cups, right? So, and the Nine of Wands. Yeah, I mean, you're exhausted. Virgo, I think, you're exhausted and you're just looking for a little bit of relief here. And I think November is bringing that to you, but not in the way that you had perceived it to be. Right. And with that Six of Cups and the King of Swords kind of clarifying the Queen of Cups here, it's, giving to yourself and making sure that you're kind of nurturing the parts of you that need to be nurtured while being in control of what you give your thoughts to, right? And addressing any kind of inconsistencies or any kind of false information that you've been perhaps relying on to date, right? Gaining clarity from that Eight of Swords. It feels like we're walking away from this mindset a little bit and doing the work that needs to be done in order to see a little bit more clearly, right? Taking a more diplomatic approach, allowing new information to replace any information that no longer serves. Okay, Virgo, let's go ahead and flip this card over. The Moon. Yeah, definitely some movement forward, right? And again, this idea of there's some fear there, but it's almost like as if you recognize that to be the case, but you're not allowing it to stop you. You're still moving forward, not knowing all the facts, not knowing the full route, but knowing some based things of, I know I need to continue on, and not letting the fear stop you. Yeah. Let's get some last call messages here for Virgo. Anything else here? Anything else here for Virgo? Castle. It's a time for healing, not war. Protest. Start a revolution. Contradictory, right? That's interesting, right? The choices 30 and 28, right? There's an element of choice here. Anything else for Virgo? Anything else? You can be your own knight. Yeah, you can rescue yourself. And it does feel like that's what you're doing, right? There's a certain level of awareness to a situation here and you're figuring it out, right? You're doing what you need to do. You're testing, you're exploring your limits, right? And seeing that it's not as easy as you thought, but you're not letting that stop you. Your journey is still continuing, right? Even though you're feeling all of this fatigue and burden, for lack of a better word, right? You're continuing on and you're doing what you need to do. And it does feel like you are holding yourself accountable and looking out for yourself in a way that feels, for some of you, a little bit new. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Virgo. Thank you so much for stopping by to gain some clarity for the month of November. I appreciate you today and always, and I wish you all the very best. We'll see you next time. You take care.